Meghan Markle's outrageous cruelty exposed and the vicious media war being conducted against William and Catherine. I've got the inside story. It will shock you. But first, Harry banned for Christmas. Now, anyone who thinks that Prince Harry has rebuilt his relationship with the royal family and is backing King Charles's good books can think again. Now, the Mark Dolan show last week reported that King Charles was bemused, angry and baffled at Harry's behaviour following their Clarence House summit, after which he ran off to Ukraine for a cynical photo opportunity and to indulge in yet another of his fake royal tours, and telling the Guardian newspaper, which by the way wants to abolish the monarchy, all about his meeting with the king. He had promised not to speak to journalists. What does he do? 5 minutes later, blabbermouth himself spills the beans. The king's not happy and Christmas is off. Now, the interview with the Guardian was a complete disaster, deeply ill-judged, but we know that Harry is a very foolish man. And what's happened is that interview and Harry's behaviour since the Clarence House summit has significantly set back relations between Harry and the palace. Well, breaking today, it is the understanding of the Mark Dolan show that Prince Harry's hopes for a Christmas invitation to the royal family's festive celebrations at Sandringham have been dashed. It ain't happening. Harry, forget about it. It ain't happening. Now, we can reveal that no such invitation from the palace will be forthcoming given Harry's recent antics, which have dragged the Duke straight back to square one, and he's only got himself to blame. Now, it's far from certain that Harry would have accepted any such invitation for a Christmas celebration at Sandringham. Meghan surely wants to keep him in America. But the news that he's not welcome at this important time of the year is a massive setback and demonstrates that it's going to be a long, long time before any full reconciliation is possible. And time is something that Harry doesn't have, as his father, an older man in his late 70s, battles cancer. Now, insiders have exclusively told this programme Harry is simply, and I quote, not welcome at Sandringham this Christmas. Charles is, and here's the quote, disappointed and surprised by his activities since their Clarence House meeting, and his probation has now just been extended indefinitely. The insider said, and this is a great quote from the insider, you'll love this, Santa coming down the chimney is more likely than Harry spending the season with his family. They went on to say that Harry is once again a stuffed turkey this Christmas. Well, it's not a surprise, because I'm afraid to say that you reap what you sow. And what I've really enjoyed about the royal family's attitude to Harry in the last few months is a case of not revenge, but just accountability for his behaviour. And now that he's come toadying back, trying to, finagle himself with King Charles and the palace operation, well, they're saying, no, we're not going to do that, Harry. And if there is any rapprochement, then we're going to do it on our terms. But it is going to be, and that's the story, it's going to be a long, long time. And I think it's going to be a long, long time. And rightly so. It's so well deserved. And here's the other thing. Is it any surprise that the family don't want to invite Harry for Christmas? Can you imagine anything worse than that misery guts killing the mood on Christmas Day as you're lighting the candles and you're doing your wonderful, Christmas carols? I'm dreaming of a white Christmas, just like the ones I used to know. Right? Amazing. Instead, it wouldn't be White Christmas with Bing Crosby. It'll be Ginger Christmas with Prince Harry. I'm dreaming of a ginger Christmas, just like the ones I used to know when I didn't throw my whole family under the bus and call them a bunch of racists. Oh. So it's a thing of beauty to see Charles finally flex his muscles and say, Harry, no, no, no. Something that should have been said to Harry when he was a little boy. But the problem is he's completely spoiled rotten, which is why he's so entitled and why he has a victim mentality. Prince Harry, a victim? Do me a favour. married to a TV actress, living in a mansion with 16 bathrooms, world famous, untold privilege, millions of dollars in the bank, even though that's dwindling and Harry is flat broke because there's no income. But seriously, who are you kidding that you're a victim? But that's his mentality. It's tied in with the narcissism. The guy's very, very troubled. And we'll get to that shortly. But look, I've got so many big stories. By the way, my neighbour's cat, Reg, is back. Reg is back. That's coming up. And a shocking media campaign against William and Catherine, which has made me truly, truly furious. And Meghan Markle's cruelty exposed. I've got the inside story. But do you really can you imagine having Prince Harry around on Christmas Day? Just with that negative energy, that gloomy face of his. Ooh. And the only positive of having Harry at the house for Samuel at Christmas is that some of the younger kids, maybe Charlotte and you've got George, Charlotte and Louis. Maybe Louis, when Harry turns up, because he hasn't seen his uncle for years, when Harry turns, maybe Louis will think it is Father Christmas. Because Harry's got a lot in common with Father Christmas, okay? First of all, both very, very fat. Right? Father Christmas is, that's what we love about Father Christmas. He's got a very high body mass index. He's a unit, isn't he? He's chunky. He's a chunky one. Old Father Christmas. Ho, ho, ho. Right? No wonder he's always saying ho, ho, ho. He lives on carbohydrates, right? Mince pies and, all that lovely Christmas pudding and everything, right? Of course he's jolly. Of course he's got a red face. That's blood pressure. And then the brandy, of course. So, but what's going to happen is that if Harry turned up at Sandringham on Christmas Day, little Louis would be like, oh my goodness, Papa, Father Christmas is here. I know, because a man's come in with a sort of wispy beard, with thinning hair and a big massive fat belly. I think that's Father Christmas, isn't it? And William will be like, no, that's not Father Christmas. That's your ridiculous Uncle Harry, who's the biggest joke in this family. But yeah, I mean, Harry could be, normally when people, because I can't lie, I've been invited to appear as Father Christmas once or twice, once on television and once at an event. And they said, would you be Father Christmas today for some charity thing? Because I'm always giving back. I got so much to give. Can't live if living is without you. Can't give anymore. Can't live. Right. I've actually dressed up as Father Christmas, and I have to wear so many layers to get that fatness and to get a lot of makeup for the rosy, flushed complexion. Harry doesn't have to do that. Harry can just wear a pair of his favourite slacks and just pitch up. You've got the beard, he's got the belly, got the red face. It's all there. It's done and dusted. Harry is Santa ready. But honestly, what a buzzkill he'd be on Christmas Day, moping around the place. Just going, oh, I don't really like this eggnog. It's a bit too sweet for me. Not really enough booze in that eggnog, because Meghan and I are big drinkers. By the way, before we get back to Harry and Christmas, oh my goodness, Meghan Markle, my husband. You realise what a catastrophe her As Ever brand has, which is, by the way, it's a completely stolen name. As Ever is a lovely fashion label in New York, and Meghan didn't do her due diligence or perhaps stole the name, and she's called her website that, and it's got a handful of items on it. Some tea bags, bit of jam, and the flower sprinkles. I get my flower sprinkles, which I believe are toxic, hallucinogenic, and for the avoidance of doubt, people aren't supposed to eat flowers. Call me old-fashioned. Call me old-fashioned. So that's fine. The latest thing now, there is a new product. You will not believe this. The new product is a wine, and it is a Sauvignon Blanc, which I think is a lovely grape. It's a white wine. I prefer the white wine. I find red wine very unforgiving as a drink. It goes down well, but the next day, good luck with that. I'm all over the place. So white wine, I find a more forgiving beverage, and it's lovely and it's great. The Cabernet Sauvignon, the Sauvignon Blanc, I should say, Sauvignon Blanc. Well, Meghan has released a Sauvignon Blanc, but is it from the Napa Valley, which is close to where she lives in California? Is it an American wine that she's selling because she's a famous American retailer and cultural icon? No! Now, this may surprise you, but although I'm pretty lean these days, a few years back, I was a little on the chunky side. I lost weight the hard way, calorie counting, cutting carbs, hours in the gym, and trust me, it is no fun. And the bad habits creep back in. Well, this time round, to keep the dad bod at bay, I'm using Hypnosio, a revolutionary self-hypnotherapy app that tackles the root causes of weight gain. Instead of obsessing over diet and exercise, which rarely works long term, Hypnosio harnesses the power of your subconscious to permanently change your behavior. Guided sessions on any device help you to break emotional eating, reduce stress, and build a healthier relationship with food. Think of it as a virtual gastric band or a psychological dose of Ozempic without the terrifying needle and without the side effects. So, no calorie counting, no food diaries, no giving up your favorites, and it works. Users lose twice as much weight as traditional methods, and 94% of people, that is 94%, keep it off. So use my link in the description and pinned comment to grab 15% off your first subscription. What's not to lose except those unwanted pounds? It's from blinking Australia. Now New Zealand, blimey. You don't mix those two up, cobber, because I've got so many viewers in Australia, so many viewers in New Zealand. You don't mix the two up. Very different countries. Very, very different countries. Both beautiful countries, by the way. So, New Zealand, from the Marlborough estate. And so Meghan's amazing product doesn't even come from her home country, doesn't even come from her home state. It's not Napa Valley. And this is an extraordinary setback for the vineyards of California, who are relying on the exports in order to make money. You've got those farmers looking after the grapes, and they've got hard lives, and they work long hours, and they don't make a lot of money. And Meghan has decided to go over their heads and to import a wine from the other side of the world, which is, by the way, environmentally unfriendly because you've got to ship all that stuff over. New Zealand, which is, by the way, I love New Zealand wine, okay? And I've drunk it on many occasions. But the point is, she's in America, and she lives in a state that is famous for its wine, and that's famous for white wine, and famous for the Sauvignon Blanc grape, which is very popular in the Napa Valley. So Meghan has decided to do that. So essentially, it's just wild that this amazingly innovative website of hers now involves basically relabeled, repackaged goods from other countries with no connection to like the values of her brand or what it's all about, which is, back to nature and, the Californian landscape and the natural world of Napa Valley. No. Just ship it in from New Zealand, put the as ever sticker, the as ever label on the bottle, and pass it off as your own. So there you go. It's not Napa Valley. It's not American wine. It's got nothing to do with Meghan's brand. It's fake. It's a complete counterfeit, if you like. And by the way, if I'm buying Marlborough Estate wine, I'm a very happy man because the Marlborough Estate wine is some of the finest on the planet. It's wildly good. And if they'd like to sponsor the Mark Dolan show, do you know something? Yes, they blinking can. They actually can. We will do the deal. We will do the deal. But it demonstrates Meghan's total double standards, total fakery, that she's created this brand which is about back to nature. It's about American produce. It's about buy local. New Zealand to California, local, it is not. Back to Harry. Now, here's the thing, right? Who wants Harry around the house at Christmas Day? I'm so happy that the king has put his foot down because you can just imagine him complaining about everything, can't you? He'd be like, thanks for my presents, but,
you bought me like this jumper. Now, I like knitwear, but I've got to say, this one's a bit scratchy, it's very itchy. It's like giving me a rash, actually. It's made my skin even more red and puffy than it was before. And then also, you give me a few other things, like you gave me Hugo Boss aftershave, which I think is very inappropriate because the only boss in my life is Megan. Still, the one advantage of the Hugo Boss is the fragrance is so strong it does mask the smell from all the BS that I spout every day. Humpy dumpy dumpy dum. Poor Prince Harry, world's least happy millionaire, most miserable man on Christmas Day.
They don't want it. They don't want that grey cloud hanging over them, making everyone miserable. Life is short. We're here, aren't we? To enjoy ourselves, to live a little. And Christmas is a time when the family can kick back, let their guard down a little bit. I mean, that's what you do on Christmas Day, isn't it? If you're with your family, you do have perhaps a couple of cocktails and you chill out and you relax and you listen to some music and you exchange gifts, you eat too much food. And it's the one day of the year where you can really, really be yourself and just be in the chill zone. But can you do that in the company of Prince Harry? Because how much of what you say on Christmas Day, I've got the wrong glasses now. How much of what you say on Christmas Day, after a few Cinzanos, won't go back to Meghan, won't go back to the Sussex PR machine, and won't form the basis of Harry's next book, Spare 2, plus a documentary called Harry and Meghan, this time it's personal. So you can't do it. You cannot do it.
Thank you for my presents. I really appreciate them. The only thing is, you got me an iPhone, but it's only an iPhone 16. I want an iPhone 20. I know it's not out yet, but I don't care. I'm Prince Harry and I just deserve it. Humpy dumpy dumpy dump.
So it's quite clear why he hasn't been invited. And there's one other elephant in the room, which is even if he had received invitation, if Harry had the brass neck, the cheek to turn up, then there would be one noticeable absentee. And it would be the next in line to the throne, the future king of this country, William. William would be having none of it, and it would spark an almighty civil war. And that's why I believe that a reconciliation between Harry and Charles that is complete and fulsome is for the birds. It ain't going to happen. It ain't going to happen because William is the barrier, and rightly so. Any peace deal struck by Charles will be torn up, just like this, torn up by William. Really bad at tearing paper. This is what the peace deal would look like when William, you notice how when the paper gets smaller, it gets harder to rip. When William gets hold of that peace deal, he will tear it up. And Harry's life won't be worth living. So, folks, that is that. That is a key aspect of that story which I wanted to convey to you. And fair enough, good enough for Harry that he's not going to participate at this very, very special event. And it's very funny because we're hearing from well-placed sources that Harry is, and I quote, pining for his home country and has begun reaching out to his UK friends. Those are the UK friends who the royal butler exclusively told this programme Harry has ignored for years now. That's right, Harry doesn't call his friends. According to Grant Harold, who knows the prince inside out, Harry doesn't call his friends anymore. Well, he started to get back in touch with his friends. One close pal, close to the Duke, told the Evening Standard newspaper, Spike, which is his nickname among his old school friends, is seriously homesick. He started reaching out to us more and more. It started with very long and earnest WhatsApps. We actually all made a decision when we started getting them not to take not to PISS is the English word there, not to mock the messages or make light of them. Something we couldn't have imagined doing a few years before. Anyway, gradually, he seems to be sounding more normal. You see, even the friends have realised what a total freak show the Sussexes are now. And that they've had to have a really strict rule not to mock his messages and laugh at them because they're so airy-fairy, so California, so crazy woke. So the source added, whenever anyone goes to America, they try to see him. It never seems to be with Meghan, though. We think he's beginning to pine for home. Another source added that it's not just Harry who's deeply affected by the ongoing feud. A royal courtier told The Standard, Harry seems to have forgotten this, but his father always absolutely adored him. He always called him my darling boy and was so affectionate. Charles was so affectionate. Charles did say,
"Ooh, my darling boy, my wonderful son." He said, "I have to be honest with you. I do love you very much, and I always will, and I'm a big softy whenever you're around, because you're the youngest, and the youngest is always so sweet. Youngest is always sweet, just like Mark Dolan, the broadcaster. He's the youngest of four, and he's so sweet. Mark Dolan, so sweet. He's so sweet, you know."
but we know that Charles was affectionate to Harry, and that's no problem, but never taught him right from wrong and never showed him the consequences of his actions. Anyway, the insider goes on to say, people always seem to think that Harry inherited all his charm from his mother, but lots of the things that he's good at, being attentive and remembering people's names and good with the public, is something that comes directly from the king. And I'm really glad that it's a matter of public record that they've said that, because Charles is good-humoured, quick-witted, intelligent, charming, warm, loving. He's fabulous. The only problem he's got is that he is irredeemably weak. He is catastrophically, pathetically weak. Grow a pair, Charles, and show that boy who's in charge. You're not just his father. You are the king of the United Kingdom, and behave like a king, because if you don't, I can assure you, when he becomes king, William most certainly will. Meanwhile, Meghan's trip to Paris has been a hot mess. Meghan's trip to Paris has been a hot mess. I'll be honest with you. Whenever Meghan leaves the house, it's a hot mess. Whenever Meghan makes a TV show, it's a hot mess. The reason is, whenever Meghan launches a product range or does a podcast or an interview, it's a hot mess, because Meghan is a hot mess. So we know that she insulted Diana's memory, which I talked about in yesterday's show, zooming along in a limousine with her pathetic high-heeled shoes worth $1,000, which are sort of propped up against the back of the other seat in the car. So she's like reclined in the car. This is, I don't know if she's wearing a safety belt or what. I don't know what the story is. But it's a very, very tone-deaf, ignorant thing to do, to be in a chauffeur-driven car speeding through Paris with her feet up on the chair. Did that not raise any alarm bells? Did nobody even advise Meghan that that would be a bad idea, because her husband's mother perished in a Paris tunnel in 1997? So either Meghan was stupid and didn't realise, or was defiant, or was maybe sending a message which is, I'm kind of Diana myself. So that's why I was in Paris driving quickly in chauffeur-driven cars, because I'm sort of Diana as well. I'm Diana. I'm kind of more Diana than Diana, actually. I'm a little bit more royal. I'm more beautiful. I'm hotter. I'm more hot. I'm hotter. I'm hotter than Diana. Hotter than Diana. Dirty Diana. Dirty Diana. And I'm more caring than Diana. I'm a warmer person. I'm better with victims of terrible life experiences. I'm very comforting. I'm very good at comforting people who have had a difficult time, even though no one asks me how I'm feeling. So, I don't know if she thinks she's Diana 2.0. Right? She's not even Sarah Ferguson 2.1. She just isn't. Who is she kidding? So not only does she zoom through these roads in Paris, by the way, in parallel to the tunnel where Diana perished, and I was actually on air as a radio producer at the time when that news broke, and I was rather spookily working at a radio station called 963 Liberty, which was owned by Mohammed Al-Fayed, whose son Dodi was dating Diana at that time, and who was, lost his life in that self-same accident. So it was very odd to be working at the radio station owned by a family member of the Al-Fayeds. Diana's lover when the news broke, it was quite, and I was a young, very wet behind the ears producer, and it was a coming of age moment. I will say it was a life-changing experience. It was a tragedy. Of course, I wish it hadn't happened, but it was a moment when I came of age as a broadcaster, because I was just a little lowly producer at that point. I think it was my first job in broadcasting, or second. And the next day, I went to Buckingham Palace and I had a little tape recorder. The radio station got me to interview the public to ask them how they felt about the whole thing. And it was a very tough thing for me to do because I was very inexperienced. But just the warmth and the love of the public towards Diana just lifted me. And it was quite an experience. It was a life-changing experience for me to report on the aftermath of Diana's passing. But that whole thing was a big cultural moment for the country and the world. The most famous woman in the world taken from us so soon. And the legendary Elton John singing Candle in the Wind at the funeral. Wasn't that something else? There's your homework after the show. Just go on YouTube and have a look at him singing Candle in the Wind in the church at Westminster Abbey. And there isn't a dry eye in the house. So what a tough gig that was for old Elt. So well done him. Anyway, it was a humbling and serious and tragic time when she passed. The idea that Meghan would come back 25 years later, did she consult Harry about this Paris trip? Did Harry not say, look, the connotations are quite significant if you go back to Paris, that's where my mum died. So I'd appreciate it if when you go back, you're very discreet, you don't go anywhere near where it happened. And instead, she's in a limousine flying around Paris with her feet on the back of the seat in her $1,000 Balenciaga boots. And what's she doing? I don't know. She's digging her stilettos into the memory of Diana. It's just so inappropriate. It's so insulting. And I don't know whether she's done it on purpose or if it's just tone deaf or stupid or a land grab of Diana's image. It could be all of the above. But it's a shocking thing and it's upset a lot of people. And no doubt it's upset Harry. And it will be exactly like that moment in the Harry and Meghan documentary when Meghan starts to mock Queen Elizabeth. Now, for his sins, love him or hate him, Harry was very fond of his grandmother, the Queen. And to see his wife mocking Elizabeth and taking the pee like that, right, being so obnoxious, that will have hurt Harry. And you could see it in that documentary. His face was just like thunder. He was like, you could see he wanted the ground to open up and swallow him whole because it was so bad. And I'm sure that he's hurting now from this Diana insult. So she's flying. And then do you know something? She stays in a hotel, which is 4 minutes from where Diana passed. If you're going to be staying in Paris and you are the wife of, well, you're Prince Harry's wife, who, you're his mother was Diana, and you go to Paris, you do not stay 4 minutes from where she was. I wouldn't want to. That would be ghoulish. I would want to stay miles away. I'd be at the airport. I don't mind an airport hotel. You get more space at the airport, haven't you? I think so. 24/7 room service, late night bar. I love an airport hotel. I enjoy an airport hotel. And because I tell you the other thing is it's not nice not to have the schlep in the morning. You wake up, you get the shuttle to the airport, 10 minutes, get a coffee, get airside, buy your duty free. All is good with the world. Anyhow, so let's get to this. Meghan, the latest thing now is that Meghan is under scrutiny once again after footage surfaced that appears to show her laughing when a model fell on the Balenciaga runway during Paris Fashion Week. Let's take a look. Now, this is quite extraordinary, right? Seated in the coveted front row, the Duchess of Sussex captured, gasping in surprise before covering her mouth and turning to her friend Marcus Anderson, who runs a chain of private members clubs called Soho House. And the thing is, he is obviously a decent guy, Marcus Anderson, and he's not reacted. He's not giggled or expressed any shock. He's done exactly what you would do if you were sitting on the front row and a model fell over, which is that you just have the poker face. Because it's obviously humiliating for the poor model for whom it happened. But what does Meghan do? Oh, that's so funny. Whoops, I shouldn't have laughed. That was naughty, wasn't it? And it was a diagnostic of her character. It was like a litmus test. And this Marcus Anderson guy is respectful and decent, doesn't react. And Meghan is giggling away because she's cruel. She's heartless. Where's the empathy for this model whose career could be over now? Because the models are supposed to walk along and they're not supposed to topple over on the catwalk. And she might lose. That model may lose gigs now because of it. Not helped by Meghan Markle laughing her socks off. So unfair. But that's not the only thing that happened. Meghan was blanked by the brilliant actress Dame Kristin Scott Thomas. You know Kristin Scott Thomas? Really, really brilliant actress. Very beautiful lady. Great, great actress. I've met her and she's a really nice lady. Very down to earth. Very talented, obviously. Great career. And the acclaimed British actress and star of Slow Horses, among many other hits, was filmed turning away from Meghan. Because Meghan went in for the go, "Hi, I'm Meghan Markle. I'm an actress too. We're both thespians. You're welcome. I dream of playing Shakespeare. In fact, I heard he's quite rich. Maybe I could marry him. Is he still around? Is he a billionaire?" "No, Meghan, I'm Rupert Murdoch and I'm a billionaire. And I'm going to marry you. And I'm going to make you a big star. So don't worry about Shakespeare. I've got a lot more money than Shakespeare. And I own a lot of newspapers and TV networks. And I'm going to marry. I'm going to get divorced and marry you as well." So, Kristin Scott Thomas, right? Not interested in Meghan. Meghan tries to strike up conversation, and Kristin Scott Thomas is like, "I'm out of here." And it's just a great thing. It's a great thing. And so many celebrities have dumped Harry and Meghan, particularly the Obamas, Oprah Winfrey, the Clooneys, and Elton. Elton is like, "I'm out." Right? Elton is not still standing. He won't put up with this rubbish. And who could blame him? He's a man of excellent judgment. We love Elton. So this Paris trip was seen as Meghan's attempt to make her mark on the fashion world. But it's been overshadowed by so many problems. And so tone deaf, so ignorant, so embarrassing, so crushingly wrong. And it's great. When Meghan leaves the house, it's always a hot mess. It's a hot mess. Now, before we go, Richard Eden, the brilliant diary editor of the Daily Mail newspaper, has backed up the theory developing within the Mark Dolan show ecosystem that, see, for some reason, my phone just lit up. Why do phones do that? It's suddenly, you know that your phone is always listening to you. Richard Eden is a very, very good journalist. And he's backing up the view of the Mark Dolan show, which is that there is a vicious and cruel campaign against William and Catherine, in which one article in the Daily Express, the headline was that Catherine was in competition with William over support for rugby teams. It's a pack of lies, but they are seeking division because they're so jealous of that couple, and so much of the media is in the pocket of the Sussex PR machine. And I'm not having it. The Mark Dolan show is an antidote to that, and we are unapologetically in Team Wales and always will be. Anyway, Richard Eden, he's on my side, firmly in Team Wales rather than Team Sussex. And he said that the support for the Sussexes and the vicious Cold War being conducted against William and Catherine is happening at a very high level, including in political circles. And he's written in the paper, right? He's written in the paper, right? Oh, could you not? He's written in the paper. He's written in the paper. Richard Eden has revealed in the Daily Mail newspaper, which is an excellent fine newspaper record in the United Kingdom. It's been in publication for 150 years, and it is an epic tome of truth, with every syllable being factual, double fact-checked, and wise. So Big Richard Eden has said that he's heard claims senior government figures are keen for Harry and Meghan to reconcile with the royal family. This agenda, this pro-Sussex agenda, is at a government level. And many on the progressive left hailed this wonderful, diverse American actress, Meghan Markle, as a symbol of change in the monarchy. Why would you change your winning formula? Anyway, that's fine. So they love Meghan because she ticks a lot of boxes. She ticks a lot of boxes. She ticks a lot of boxes in England. Fine. And they yearn, this is a direct quote from Big Richard Eden, who's a brilliant journalist. Government figures yearn for Meghan's return. And don't forget Amanda Patel, who's a wonderful journalist. I'm a big fan of hers. I know her. She's a nice lady. But she has been so cruel about William and Catherine and called them the Prince and Princess of Boring, is what she called them. Well, the latest thing now is Tina Brown. Do you know Tina Brown? It's not Tina Turner. Simply the best. No, it's not Tina Turner. It's Tina Brown, who is a legend of magazine publishing. A very clever lady as well. Very, very smart person with an incredible career. So I got no personal antipathy to Tina Brown, and she's got a great Substack, which is fascinating for reading. But I'm afraid, like a lot of these people, she is totally in thrall to the Sussexes, because she knows the royals very well. She was friendly with Princess Diana. She claimed on her Substack newsletter that the King Charles, is far less irritated with Harry than he is with his older son, Prince William. I beg your pardon. She said the king is, I'm told, currently less irritated with the prodigal Harry than he is with his elder son and heir. This in part, apparently, due to the number of engagements that William undertakes, which is a lot lower than the king's own packed schedule. Well, wait a minute. William has been helping his wife battle cancer, supporting his father in his cancer battle, and William doesn't want to turn up to the opening of an envelope and is very targeted in his royal work. He wants to tackle homelessness, and he wants to save the environment with the Earthshot Prize. He's very focused, he's very targeted in what he does, and the rest of the time, he looks after his wife and kids. And I think that's actually very, very important. But Tina Turner doesn't seem to be very happy with that. Old Tina Brown. Tina Turner, by the way, great singer. Wouldn't you agree? I think so. What's your favourite Tina Turner song? Let me know in the comments. What a lady. She's apparently tiny. Apparently the tiniest lady. You could just actually carry her around in like one of those little tote bags. She could just go into a tote bag. She was so tiny. She was so tiny. And but with a big voice. And what a story. What a life story with the horrible Ike Turner, her ex-husband, who was extremely appalling to her. Anyway, a survivor. We love Tina Turner. But Private Dancer, that's a good one, isn't it? Private dancer, dancing for money, dancing for money and love. I'm a private dancer. Folks, we don't have time for this. Tempus fugit. So, she goes on to say, William's long understood to prefer and prioritise high-impact engagements. Yes, that's what I said. Like his awards to find solutions to the climate crisis, his project Homewards, which aims to end homelessness, and that he wants quality over volume. Well, that's literally what I've just said. Maybe Tina Turner, you should watch the show. You might learn something. And she goes on to say he's also said that jointly with his wife, Princess Catherine, that parenting will always be his number one priority with the future king and queen, preferring to do things like the school run, right? The parents, William and Catherine, want to do the school run. Is that crime of the century? No, that's good. Because what it means is that when they become king and queen, they'll have a happy family and the kids will love their parents. And you won't have little Louis or George or Charlotte running off to the press or writing books or marrying an American actress and going to California, right? This will not happen because William understands when mistakes are made and realizes how important it is that the family are happy. But she goes, somehow William's parenting dedication always seems couched as a tacit criticism of the king's own paternal deficiencies. Do you see how she's engineering conflict? She added, and after 5 confirmed family vacations in the past 7 months, William's first week back diary pulsated with 2 outings, a father-daughter excursion to a women's rugby World Cup match and a stroll through the Natural History Museum's new gardens. This is so insulting. How dare she? She goes on, Harry's whistle-stop visit to the UK saw him embark on something that looked pretty similar to official royal engagements, with lots and lots of things, with a similar work ethic to his father, King Charles. So she's trying to say that Harry is doing the same number of engagements as Charles when he comes to England and that William is swinging the lead. How dare you? She goes on to list all the wonderful things that Harry did when he was in the UK. And she says that the cheers that Harry received, and the success of the visit were, and I quote, bad news for the Prince of Wales. Are you out of your tiny mind? Bad news for the Prince of Wales. Do me a favour, you're having a laugh, dear. I'm truly shocked by that. But it's such nonsense. The only way we can respond to that is to laugh and to mock it and just say, wise up. Wise up, Tina Turner. Private dancer. You won't be getting any private dances from me tonight. I'm getting an early night. I'm doing my hair and going to bed. So just, you stay out of royal politics if you don't mind, Tina Turner / Tina Brown. Tina Brown. Tina Brown. Folks, it's been so great to chat. Cannot wait to see you for the next show tomorrow. Another big one. In the meantime, please like, subscribe, and all of those other things. And next up, we're going to play out with my neighbour's cat, Reg. Okay, now this cat is not my cat. He belongs to my neighbour, but he visits about 8 or 9 houses. He eats at everyone. And on this particular occasion, he has decided to eat half of the garden. I do hope he didn't get a tummy ache. Reg, over to you, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.